Good afternoon, everyone. How are you feeling at this time of the day? Still feeling good? Great. If you feel like you need a little stretch, this is the moment, although I know we're going to be very active during the session, so it's going to be good. I'm happy the spirits are up after so much learning and so many interesting conversations. It's just been a great day. Do we have anybody from Medellin in the house? Can you raise your hands? Yeah, okay, a big, big, big round of applause for people in Medellin. It's been lovely being here. Thanks for your hospitality. It's been amazing. My name is Joanna Mel. I'm the academic director at Colombo, Bogota. And I'm very, very pleased to introduce our one of our last speakers for the day. We're going to be hosting two plenary sessions back to back because we just have so much to share. So it's my honor and pleasure to welcome Tatiana Gomez today on stage. She will be addressing a very interesting topic we've been talking about, discussing and having interesting conversations about. So before we go into her presentation, I'd like to tell you a little bit about her. With over 20 years of experience, and I don't know how that's possible, in English language education, Tatiana has served as an academic leader in national programs run by local education authorities and the Ministry of Education, supporting teachers and students in Colombia's public schools. She is the founder of ELT Think Tank, and her independent work includes teacher training and instructional design with institutions like Oxford University Press and Universidad Católica de Oriente. She's also an active part of Literacies in Second Language project focusing on gamification, micro-writing, and AI literacies, with a strong emphasis on innovation and bilingual education. So with this introduction, I want to especially thank Oxford University Press, who made Tatiana's presence here possible. And thank you, Tatiana, for joining us today. Have a great time, everyone.
Thank you very much. All right. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Good? Nobody's going to fall asleep on me, right? All right, perfect. Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much for the presentation and for the invitation. Thank you for Oxford for having me here. I remember these conferences a while back with my friends in Manizales. We used to do some a while back, so I'm very happy to be here again with you and joining you today and tomorrow. So we are running a little bit late, so I'm going to try to speed things up because I don't want you guys to leave too late either. I know you're tired. You probably had a long day. But today I'm going to take you guys on an adventure, okay? So for today, we're going to be focusing on AI and how we can merge AI with gamification. But to do that, we're going to go on a little journey, all right? Now, for this journey, I need you guys to be very active, all right? We are going to be embarking on a journey, all right? And our journey is called the rise of the AI educators. And in this journey, you guys are going to be players. All right, I'm going to be playing along with you guys, so that means you guys are going to participate. We're going to talk about how we merge AI and gamification, but I'm not going to tell you. You guys are going to live it, okay? So that way you can see how we could do this in our classrooms. So the rise of AI educators. We're in a world where we are the educators, and many things are happening and changing at once. But we have to first, before we begin any kind of game, what's the first thing we have to do? What do you guys think? Rules, maybe? Yes, that's a good one. I'll give you the rules each step of the way. What else? We have to choose what? Our character. Very good. So to choose our character, we have 5 different characters. All right? Our first character, explorer of curiosity. Our second character, apprentice of knowledge. Our third character, innovator of knowledge. Our fourth, creator of mentor. And our fifth, guardian of learning. Now, you each are going to choose a character, but you're going to choose the character based on a characteristic, okay? So, depending on which one is yours, I want you to choose that character, okay? And what I'm going to ask you to do on the count of 3, after we go over the roles, is to make an action, which I'll tell you which action it is, depending on the character that you chose, right? So for example, if you've heard about AI in education, but haven't tried it yet, raise your hand. You're an explorer of curiosity. So you'll do the movement at the end, okay? If you've used AI to create a worksheet, lesson plan, or quiz, you're going to put your hands the same as the apprentice of knowledge, like right in front of your hands, all right? Right in front of your chest. Now, if you regularly integrate AI in your teaching practice, pretend to type, okay, on an invisible keyboard, and that means that you are the innovator of ideas, okay? Next, if you've created original strategies or shared AI ideas with colleagues, you're going to raise an imaginary staff, okay? And this means that you are the mentor of magic. Now, if you're leading your school or community into AI adoption, well, you're going to place your hand over your heart. You are the guardian of learning, all right? So now, I'll give you a minute to think. Let's see. Does everyone more or less know their character? Let's go in 3, 2, 1, our motions. 3, 2, 1. Let's see the characters. Okay, we have some typing. We have a staff. Ooh, nice. Hands, lots of hands in front. All right, some typing, hands on the heart. Love it. Staff. All right, so I think the one I saw the most was the hands in the front, apprentice of knowledge. So we have lots of teachers that have used it to create worksheets and different activities. The idea is that during our game today, you guys are going to be leveling up. So be attentive, because to level up, you have to participate, all right? So let's get started. We have our roles and we have our different characters, but these characters are not by chance. It turns out that there is a framework that helps us so that AI can be used in schools and in education. And in that framework, we go from acquire, where we learn how to use AI, move into deepen, which is the next progression in that framework, and then finally finish with create. So if we take a look at what are those levels, this framework is UNESCO AI Competency Framework for Teachers. Is anyone familiar with it already? Not yet? Okay, so super recommended for anyone that wants to start. The same as we use the Common European Framework as English teachers, we use this framework as leaders or teachers that are trying to embed AI into our classes. And it comes with a few principles, right? So first of all, it gives us 5 criteria, and in those 5 criteria, we have 3 progression levels, okay? So that means as teachers, the same as in the Common European Framework, we're trying to pass from A1 to A2, basically. That's what we're trying to do here as well. And in this framework, we're going to notice that we have a human-centered approach. When we start to hear about AI recently, most people are saying, okay, AI is very important, it's very good, but it's a tool. It has to stay human-centered. So how do we actually do that? This is one of those guides to help you guys. The next one is ethics first. Of course, we've had lots of debates on ethics. Today, I'm not going to touch on the topic, but something else to keep in mind. AI foundations and applications is another important topic that they talk about in this framework. Pedagogy with AI, and finally, professional growth with AI. So what you do is, in this framework, you're going to notice that we have these 5 different categories that we're trying to improve in or learn about, and we're trying to do that in 3 progression levels. Now, this is embedded in the presentation for today. So that's why I want to tell you guys that if you want to continue exploring after today's presentation, that's where you can go look, okay? Perfect. Now, let's go back to our journey, all right? We have 3 missions today, and during this journey, we have the first mission. In these missions, remember I told you guys that you are going to be participating, right? So to do this, in a minute, I'm going to ask you guys to take out your phone so you can scan a QR code, so be ready. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with our first level, the acquire level, right? And think about gamification tools you have used in your classroom. And when you hear one that applies to you, respond with the action. I'm going to ask you guys to move again, right? Remember, we're moving. Raise your hand if you've used it, the tool that I'm going to show you, okay? If you use it often, I want you guys to stand up. That way you can stretch, all right? And if it's your favorite, that's like the thing that you use the most, you're going to wave, okay? So let's see. So we have all of these different gamification elements. So just very quickly, let's see. Points. How many of you use points in your classes? Remember one of these three things? Let's see, hands waving. Okay, I see some hands, some waving. Very nice, very nice. Okay, so no one stood up, so no one uses it often. You're either at one extreme or the other. Okay, perfect. The next one, badges. Badges, raise hand. All right, raise hand. Okay, all right, very good. So you've used it. Leaderboards. That one less often. Okay, perfect. Quests or levels. That one's a little bit, okay. We have about 3 people, 4 people. All right. Rewards. I think that was common, right? In classrooms, you get your little chocolate bar. All right, perfect. And storylines. What we're doing right now is a storyline. Oh, okay, you love it. All right, perfect. Okay, so when we talk about the different gamification tools, we have different gamification elements that we can embed into our classes. Now, being quite honest, why don't we include more badges and quests and leaderboards? It takes time. It takes lots and lots of time. And sometimes we don't have time to plan our class and to see how we can make it a whole game for a class that we're going to do for one session, for 1 hour. So that's where AI comes in. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to see how we can take these gamification elements and see how we can expand them with AI. So continuing our storyline, heroes, you've just discovered your basic weapons for gamification. We have points, badges, and quests. Now with AI, we add magic to them, right? So just like enchanting a sword, AI enhances its gamification element to make it smarter, faster, and more motivating. So let's take a look at how we can do that. Here, I'm going to give you guys a minute. We can scan our QR code and join Magic School. How many of you have used Magic School before? We have 1, 2, a few hands. Okay, perfect. Very good. I'll give you a minute so you can organize. Now, once you go in, you're going to notice that this is a Magic School room. Now, some of you raise your hands that you've used Magic School, but have you used Magic School rooms with students? No? All right, so I'll walk you through while you guys are connecting. Magic School is an AI tool that's pre-programmed for education, okay? So it's something that you can use and it's already standardized to be able to use in an educational setting. Saves you time in programming and has tons and tons of tools. But it has one element, which are Magic School rooms that you can use with your students. So right now, you're going in as if you were my students, okay? And when you go into this room, you're going to notice that you have 3 apps that you can use, right? And they have different levels. So of course, we're going to go in order. We're going to enter level 1. Now, I'm going to walk you guys through the instructions or the rules. Question, are we good? Can I keep going? All right, perfect. Oh, you guys are such a good crowd. So we're going to go into level 1, meet the Oracle. You guys are going to meet the Oracle. The Oracle is our AI chatbot, okay? And what are you going to do with the Oracle? The mission, what are you going to do with the Oracle? You're going to talk to it. It's already pre-programmed, so it's going to have a conversation with you. Follow the activity, and when the time is up, I will tell you guys how you can escape or finish the conversation with the Oracle, okay? So go ahead, I'll give you time. You can read the instructions on your phones. If you haven't been able to connect, buddy up with someone maybe next to you. And while you're doing that, I'm going to show you the back end in case anyone is interested as a teacher, how we use this in the back end, okay? Here we go. This is what my classroom looks like on the back end, just in case. I see what you guys are doing and the conversations that you're having with that chatbot, okay? So, just so you guys know how it works. Ooh. All right, good. I see lots of people are active. They're creating their initial generation. Very nice, very nice. Explore the tool, talk to it, make sure that you understand what are the different things that you can do. Hi, guys. So for anybody that's just joining us, we're connected to a classroom, so you guys can join in this code, okay? This QR code. All right, how's it going so far with your chatbot, with the Oracle? Good? Okay. Gonna give you one more minute, one more minute. All right, so I'm going to stop you there. Stay connected because we're going to use it again, okay? But I'm going to go back real quick before we keep going. So as a teacher, what did you notice about this chat? Could you ask it anything that you wanted? Did I have to go around and explain the instructions to each one of you? All right, you guys were able to do it independently, where I as a teacher did not have to go and see what each one of you were working on. But because I'm using it with Magic School Rooms, I do have access to what you guys are talking about. I have access so that I can follow up on the conversations that my students are having, so that I can teach my students how to use generative AI in the best possible way, considering ethics and just general use. And I've programmed this tool so that it talks to you with certain rules. So for example, when I was testing it out, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make believe I'm a student. No sé, profe, no le entiendo. And I would answer that in the chat. And it would tell me, look, you can do it. Do you need an explanation in Spanish? It would give me a quick explanation in Spanish, but because I programmed it, and then it would switch back to English right away. It does not change the conversation. So if you want to test it out later, you can. And make believe that you're that one student that would not use it, that would get distracted, that doesn't understand. And do it and see all the safeguards that I've put into the chat. And these are things that you can program very quickly in Magic School so that you can be able to have an experience that they can interact with the platform itself, but also where you can track what's happening. So again, based on time, I'm going to kind of move along, but in this level, for you guys to wrap up this conversation, the mission time is up. So because our mission time is up, we're going to write the keyword in the chat, enhance. Now I'm going to give you 2 minutes to continue the conversation with your chat, but this time it's going to switch over. So now it's going to treat you like a teacher again. And it's going to brainstorm with you how you could extend these tools in different ways in your class. So write the word enhance in the chat, and the chat bot will know that you're ready to discuss with it as a teacher how you can continue using AI to enhance tools. So go ahead. Again, I'll give you a minute just so you see that it works. So again, I've programmed this, right? So that when you put this keyword in, it switches the role, and now it talks to you as a teacher, and it can brainstorm with you a little bit. So from this, would you guys ever consider that you could have used AI with something like this with your students? So if any of you are in the concurrent session with me tomorrow, we're actually going to go in depth of how you can do this with your students, okay? So this is our first mission. Guys, we've recognized the different elements of gamification, but I'm going to give you just a few ideas in case anyone couldn't get to that point with your chatbot. Just one idea for each one. So we have points. One way that you can do personalized points is to use AI to track performance and award points for progress in weak areas. What we usually do in our classes, or traditionally, I would just be like, oh, you gave me the homework, point. You delivered, point, and that was it. Now we can go beyond that, right? We can be able to give points for very specific outcomes that we have, and then that way be able to engage learners and be able to really include formative assessment into this whole process. Example for badges, you can do a smart badge generator where AI generates creative badge names and visuals. So for example, the past tense Dragon Slayer, and then it'll create a badge for you. Again, this is time that we save, and it's still giving a very enriching experience to your students. Dynamic ranking, so AI can create multiple leaderboards, like effort, collaboration, improvement, and be able to measure that in real time with your students, and then give you updated leaderboards and different types of ways to track leadership. Quest, you can make adaptive to paths. Are all your students the same? No, right? So we can have a quest where you have side quests for students that are falling behind, or for those early finishers, right? Profe, ya terminé. What else can I give you? So AI can help us to make sure that they have that additional homework or side quests inside their adventures. AI is a dungeon master, so with storylines, AI spins a narrative updates based on your classroom input, because maybe you can have a storyline, and then depending on the results of your students, that changes what's going to happen in the storyline. Like a choose your own adventure, but based on your students' results. So imagine AI being able to be creative in terms of how I continue my story based on what you guys did during the class. AI can do that in a second, right? So all of these are different ways. Now, just to kind of summarize this first part, there are always going to be discussions that we have to embed 21st century skills into our instructional practice, right? There's always ongoing questions of how we incorporate communicative learning, inquiry-based learning, problem-based, project-based, task-based learning, and lots of times the conversation is how can we do this in a real way? Lots of times gamification can be a solution, because inside of gamification we have tasks, or we have inquiries, or we have all of these different elements that we want. Now, build digital literacy, there is an importance to continue building digital literacies so that we can be able to understand AI's strengths, limits, and biases before use, and we can focus on humanizing learning. Like I said before, AI is just a tool, which means we should always focus on student motivation and collaboration with teachers, whereas it's supporting us, not replacing us, right? And we need to equip teachers and learners with these digital literacies. Lots of times in some schools are saying, no, nothing with AI, because I don't want my students using that. It's like, how are we going to teach them to use it correctly, right? So the idea is that we can equip teachers and learners with these digital literacies so that they can prepare for any change that arrives within AI. In the presentation, you're also going to find the different sources for this, so you can be able to look up more information. Guys, again, guess what happened? We have finished our first mission, and we're going to level up your characters. Now, we talked about a very specific topic. I want to see, show me how comfortable you feel recognizing gamification elements and AI enhancements. Has this opened your mind a little bit in terms of how you can use gamification elements and use AI to continue them? So again, a quick, I can start to bring this into my classroom. You're going to hand at your chest, proud. Or I feel confident bringing this into my classroom. We're going to both hands up. Or I'm ready to integrate this into my teaching. One hand high. So on the count of 3, let's see where you are in this point of recognizing gamification elements and AI enhancements. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Up, hand. Let's see. Ooh, both hands up. I love it. I love it. I see a lot of hands on. One hand up. Very good. Thank you very much. I love it. So guess what, guys? You have completed level 1, and you have also leveled up your character. Congratulations. A round of applause for you guys. A round of applause for you guys. Very good, very good, very good, very good. All right. Now, guess what? In level 1, we found our weapons and enchanted them with AI. But a true quest needs a map, right? So, in our second mission, AI becomes our strategist, helping us plan missions, quests, and storylines that keep students on the path of learning. So now, we're going to go back to our magic school, right? So you're there, but this time, we're going to go into our level 2 class, okay? Level 2 chatbot. And in this level 2 chatbot, you guys are going to talk to it again, but this time you're going to have that conversation, and it's going to show you how we can use this to plan our classes or to plan our activities. Follow the instructions. I don't want to give away too much, so that it's something authentic that you guys are doing in real time. And so you can see what it would be like for your students, right? Perfect. So I'll give you, let's say, 2-3 minutes to interact, to try to do it with the chatbot, and then we'll keep going. I know there's people watching at home, so if you guys can also connect, I'd love to see you in there. Just in case you're not connected, you can also follow along here so you can see what the chatbot is telling everybody else. One more minute because of time, sorry. Since we started late, I'm going to have to, we can't kind of do the whole cycle, but just so you guys get an idea. So you see we're offering a prompt. It's giving you guys an initial prompt. As teachers, you could do any prompt you want, right? Depending on the class that you have. But it's guiding students as you go along. Perfect. So far, is it easy or difficult to plan your first quest? Straightforward, easy? Yeah? All right. I see lots of head doing this, but I see lots of you also concentrated on the phone, so I don't want to interrupt. Okay, perfect. All right, guys, so again, I'm going to keep going, but you can keep this and you can explore it on your own later on. But in this one, what were we doing in this one? We are now, as teachers, trying to design a quest. So if you notice, you can go back and forth with this chatbot so that you can create your quest. You can make adaptations, because that is one of the keys in AI. The first output that it gives you will most likely not be the one that you want or need. So always make sure to go back and forth, make those adaptations and those adjustments that you want. So once you've done that, and we can say that we've completed the mission, all right? Now you can put in your keyword. Once you put in your keyword, it's going to give you a bit more like a summary of how you can do this in real time. So if you put in the word blueprint, that will be our keyword to talk to Oracle as a teacher. Okay. Perfect. So if you notice, the keyword starts immediately to wrap up the conversation. It'll give you like some final ideas and pointers. And the idea is that you can continue exploring this tool again on your own. But just talking about how we can take this one step further. Developing gamification as a gamer-focused event helps students think critically, communicate effectively, and achieve their goals. When we're able to gamify something, it's not simply just putting points. It's a lot more than that. It also has a sense of what victory is, which we're going to go through in a minute as well. So remember that we're going to design AI with the use of human-centered mindset, right? So we remain accountable for pedagogical decisions. Who is making the decisions of that chatbot? You guys as teachers. You're pre-programming the chatbot so that it has exactly what you need for your students. Use the AI to map quests or activities, but ensure that there's an alignment with your learning goals and ethical practice. When you're setting up the chatbot, it's really straightforward. Simply just answer a few questions that they ask you, and one of those questions is, what is your objective? What are things I should keep in mind with your students? Are there any learning disabilities? Are there any things that I need to do, side quests, because there are students that are faster than others, etc. So make sure that when you're planning, we can keep that in mind. And technology, of course, needs to be humanized so that it works for the benefit of teachers and learners, not the other way around. There needs to be more discussion about the outcomes that matter, and we should strive to give teachers agency over decisions. AI can help you guys as teachers make these decisions in class, bring this kind of gamification to your students without sacrificing lots and lots and lots of time. Because if we wanted to do a mission like this, of course, it would take you lots of time to plan and prepare. For example, all of the beautiful images that you've seen in the presentation so far, all of them were done in Google. I was in Google, to my surprise, in Google Slides, and Google Slides now has the option of embedding an image, and instead of embedding image, it creates it for you. So all of the Google, I tried it out for this presentation, and all the images you see here were made in Google Slides. So it's trying to play around with it, but seeing how we make these decisions and not how AI is making the decisions for us. So guys, we have come to the end of our second mission, and we're going to level up the characters, same as before, but this time, show me how ready you feel to plan with AI. Was it easy for you? Did you guys see that it was just making a prompt and then kind of going back and forth? So let's take a look. We have, if you can start to bring this into your classroom, hand at chest. If you feel confident, then we're going to put both hands up. And if you're really ready to fully integrate this into your teaching, one hand high. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's see hands. Let's see. 2 hands, 1 hand. Ooh, lovely. I see lots of hands, which I love. All right, very good, guys. Guess what? You have leveled up your character, and you have completed level 2 of our mission. Okay? Very nice, very nice. So remember, we are on a mission, for those of you that arrived a little bit later, and this is the rise of AI, of the AI educators. And heroes, in level 2, you learned how to unroll your quest map, right? And using AI to plan missions, tasks, and rewards. But now it's time to move up to level 3. And in level 3, AI is no longer just a planner. It becomes a player in the game itself. Get ready, because AI is now part of the adventure. So in all of these different chats that we've been having, it's helping us to plan. It's helping us to identify how to use different game elements. But now we're going to use it as if we were in class with our students. So again, we're going to go back to Magic School. Oops, there we go. There. We're going to go back to Magic School, and now we're going to go into our level 3, which is our last mission. Level 3. Again, we're going to go back to the Oracle, and in this one, you guys are going to see how we can use this in class. So let's take a look. I'll give you like 2 minutes, because look at the time. Just so you can like get familiar with it. Try to interact with it a little bit. You can kind of scroll down to the prompt if you want and kind of continue the conversation. This is like a little quiz. You're testing it out to see how much you learned. All right? So let's see, let's see. Quick question. Are all of your chats saying exactly the same thing as mine? Similar, right? It is personalized. So I gave it a prompt. I gave it like an instruction or a program, but it doesn't mean that it has a strict script. So you'll see variations, but the outcome will always be the same. So that's something that's also cool because it adapts to your students as they're talking to you, okay? Nice. All right, I'm gonna just continue because I know what we have here. One thing here, just in case, so you guys, if you guys want to use this in your classrooms, you can type, but you can also have your students use a microphone. So if you want to have students practice, for example, in a conversation, they can actually record, and then you can also hear over here, they can hear what the AI is saying by having it read aloud. And if you do this, it has speeds, so they can make it slower for lower levels. Okay, so just keep that in mind if you're going to use that with your students. So guys, once we did this, we also have a keyword, enchant. So if you have enchant, it's going to give you some final pointers. So everyone just put in the word enchant. So that way you can see those final pointers. I'll put it up here so you guys can see it as well. Actually, no. Okay. So if you notice an enchant, it'll just start wrapping up the conversation, tell you that you guys have been able to complete this mission. All of this is pre-programmed. So imagine having your students do something like this, where everything is tied together and they can be able to use AI, but again, with all of the back-end support as a teacher, especially with those underage students where we need to think about safeguarding and control and ethics, right? So we can go here. Here we can actually check out the information. So we can, here we go. We can check out the information, we can pause it, maybe if we feel that the student's getting off track, or we can lock an activity if time is over. So we have lots of control from this one. Just in case you guys are going to use it, you go here to the right side where it says Magic School, sorry, I can't see from here, and then all the way down to rooms. And in rooms, you can create your rooms, and look at how easy it is for your students to come in. They don't have to create a user or anything like that either. So now, let's go back to our presentation. So guys, you have explored how we can use AI or how we can use AI tools. Now let's take this a little bit further to start wrapping up. It says the concept of victory evolved from merely winning to exploring how gamers develop sustained commitment. We're actually in the middle of publishing a book that comes out this year, and one of the things is victory. What is the point of playing a game? To win. But what does winning mean? It's a sense of victory. It's not beating somebody else. It's victory in my own process. And when you're stuck in a level, for us old school gamers, when you're stuck in a level, you go, oh, no, and you can stay hours repeating exactly the same mission until you get it right. And what makes students do that? What builds like that connection that allows students to say that they're going to repeat something 4 or 5 times in 5 hours? Because they want to pass. So all of those things that we have from merely winning, how do we transmit that into the classroom? So one way to do this with AI is to let AI act as a co-player, as a mentor, right? In a gamified learning. They could be an NPC, right? Non-playable character. They could be an NPC. They could be an oracle. They could be a guide. But it keeps students' creativity at the center. Always have students be the one that drive the conversation so that you avoid students telling it, give me an adventure. No, they're the ones that have to give me the information and the inputs so that AI can help. So we always try to give students that creativity. Model responsible Gen AI use. By pre-programming a chatbot like you guys saw today, you can make sure that your students know how to write that prompt. So if you want them to use this for correcting writing, for example, they maybe don't know how to write a good prompt without telling it, check my essay and correct it for me. That's not a correct way to use AI. So how do we teach them? We can teach them responsible Gen AI use, right? So that they can reflect on prompts and outputs and biases. Remember, biases and inclusion is also a huge topic in AI. They can promote equity and sustainability. We can make sure that the AI tools that we're using are safe, inclusive, and adapted to the classroom context. when I talk about safe and inclusive, one of the reasons I love using Magic School, because if I tell my students to use, for example, ChatGPT or Gemini, I don't have enough control. I don't know what they're doing with this tool. So I would like to be able to have a bit more control, which is where using a tool like this comes in. And we should ensure that technology is used to promote meaningful human relationships instead of superficial interactions. Again, going to it and saying, correct my essay is not a meaningful learning experience. Encouraging positive communication and supportive collaboration, not AI doing the homework for students, but rather guiding them in terms of how to use AI correctly. So, guys, guess what happened? We leveled up. So, final one, right? We have, show me how ready you feel to integrate AI as part of the game. Remember our 3 levels? So we have I can start to bring this into my classroom, hand at chest. I feel confident bringing this into my classroom, both hands up. Or I'm ready to fully integrate this into my teaching, one hand high. And in 3, 2, 1. Let's see. Ooh, lots of hands up. Oh, I love it. Yes, yes, yes. All right, perfect. Very good, very good. All right, guys. So guess what's happened? We have completed level 3. Congratulations. So we've already, yeah. Round of applause. Very good. So you rose to the challenge and saved the AI educators. Congratulations. Very nicely done, my dear teachers. Very good, very good. Thank you guys for joining me on this adventure. I hope that through a practical way, you guys were able to see how we can integrate AI and gamification. And if you ask me how long I took doing this presentation, the actual gamification elements took me less than 30 minutes. And we're talking about like all of the different elements, the games, the things, because AI helped me to write the prompts so that I could set up Magic School, right? I didn't actually write them myself. I told AI, hey, I need a prompt that includes and then it created it for me. So guys, thank you very, very much for joining us in this adventure. Thank you to all my fellow AI educators out there. And once again, my name is Tatiana Gomez. Thank you very much. I don't know.
Does anyone have any questions for Tatiana about her presentation? We still have a couple of minutes if anyone has questions.
5:05, I did good. I didn't want to
questions, comments, anything? No?
I guess
we do have a question over here.
All right, cool.
Thank you. Well, I would like to know if maybe you got inspired like in Dungeons and Dragons style games, or how did you get the inspiration to get to all these ideas?
Well, I'm not sure if I look like one, but I am a gamer, right? I'm not a hardcore gamer. Actually, in my investigation, I have a very specific role. I'm a gamer mom. Yeah, I have a son. For those of you who don't know, I have a son. My son is older now. He's 21, but when my son, when my son was younger, he loved playing video games. And I had a huge frustration when I was growing up because I'm terrible at video games. Like anything with controller, I was terrible. When my son started getting into it, he started to play games on a PC. And I said, okay, maybe I could do this. And it turns out I'm pretty good on PC. So I started getting into gaming, and I became a gamer with him. I used to play World of Warcraft. I've done lots of different types of games. I would love, actually, I did my first Dungeons and Dragons about like a month and a half ago with one of my expert English teachers in Barranquilla. I love her to death, and she's teaching me how to play Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, but this one actually was inspired more on like World of Warcraft and medieval. Yeah,
thank you so much.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Any other questions or doubts how to use this or anything else? Don't be shy. I don't bite. There you go. We have a question in the back. So he was like.
So I think with this activity, we practice a lot of the writing and the reading. How can we use this tool to practice listening, speaking?
Perfect. So you can actually use the same tool that I was using. So one of the things that I like to do, I have my students read aloud, and then my instruction will be that they can't type. They can only speak, right? So again, I'll give this instruction. I'll even pre-program the chatbot and tell the chatbot, careful, don't receive any kind of typed answers. If they write, say that you don't understand, remind them that they have to use a microphone, for example. And then with the read aloud button, they can read along as they listen to what AI is actually telling them. You can actually even change the voice of your AI. It's really personalizable. So yeah, that's one way that you could extend it into that. Anyone who's going to be in my concurrent session tomorrow, we're actually going to go through the 4 skills of how to use this. Okay. Anybody else? Over here. So that the other people can hear that.
Hi. I was kind of wondering about the tool. I mean, this is the first time I use it.
Okay.
I always use Gemini and GPT, and that's it. But I was wondering about, like, if I were going to create, say, a board where they get the badges and the points and everything, is there a tool that I can actually have inside platform in order for them to have those points acquired?
So my recommendation for leaderboards, the one I use is Claude AI. That's C-L-A-U-D-E, Claude AI. Claude AI is actually a it does HTML code for you. So you could input in the chat and say, make a leaderboard for my students. These are the results I have so far. Put that into the chat bot, and it creates an interactive website that you can design with your own style, with everything, and have it updated for your students. And it's a live website, so every time that you add something to it, your students just refresh and they can see a live leaderboard, very nicely done, as if you guys were programmers, which we're not, but we can, well, some of you maybe, who knows, but as if you guys were programmers. So Claude AI would be a great tool to be able to embed a leaderboard. Here, they have like this kind of stuff, and they do have insights. So if you go here to your classroom, you have some insights that you can see, but it doesn't necessarily give you a nice leaderboard to share with your students. I would go for Claude AI, and then again, like extract information from here and plug it into Claude AI so I can design something really nice for you. Yeah, it'll load. While it's loading, I can show you guys. This one is nice because it has metrics of what's going on in your classroom. So when the last activity was, what tools were used. Since we're just using it in real time right now, it's not going to give me all the metrics, but when you've done it over time with your students, you could actually group it by tool and be able to get really good statistics on how the tool is being used. Anybody else? So for Magic School, just because you said you haven't used it before, this one, I don't know if it necessarily replaces Gemini. It has a different use. This is more for you being able to plan something very specific. So just very, very quickly here, if you go to like the tools section at the top, you can find lots of different tools for teachers. So we have some tools that are specifically for teachers, other for students. So you can do like a full lesson plan. You can give writing feedback, so plug your students' work into it, and then it'll give feedback based on your rubric. It has lots and lots of things. To be quite honest, it's overwhelming how many they have. Yeah, so what is the difference between using this and ChatGPT or Gemini? In ChatGPT and Gemini, you have to remind your ChatGPT who they are. You are an expert. You're going to help me with this. I need you to do this, da, da, da. This is pre-programmed. So you don't have to, you kind of skip all the pre-programming of letting it know what your context is and just go into the actual activity that you need it to do for you. And that's it. So it does save quite a bit of time if you can find, there's tons of things. So if you can find something there that's good for you guys. Yeah, that's Magic School. No problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you again to Tatiana for her wonderful presentation. Just a few reminders for everyone here. Please remember to scan the QR code so that you can evaluate Tatiana's presentation. We now have a cocktail, which will be on the second floor where we handed out the snacks. And on the first floor, over on this side, we're going to have a cultural presentation by an Afro group that dances like, I don't know what to call, like they dance really cool. So I mean, we would never be able to move in that way. So you can either observe from the first floor or from the balconies that surround the second and third floor. You'll be able to look down. So we hope you join us. And Tatiana, thank you again.